Hey everyone, this is Dustin from Screenworker Entertainment, and I have another anime for you, another favorite of mine, and yes, another Isekai. And since you clicked on the thumbnail, I'm sure you've already guessed the name. I'm a spider, so what? I passed over this anime for the longest time, because the title is so ridiculous, but when I finally gave it a try one night around like midnight, because I couldn't find anything else to watch, next thing I know, it's like 6 a.m. I didn't want to stop watching this damn show. I'm a Spider, so what really took me by surprise. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't have its flaws, but this is a damn good show and a damn good story. I mean, I freaking love it. Just in case you don't understand, I love this anime so much. I own all the manga, all the light novels, and a Kumiko figure. Yeah, like I said, I freaking love this anime. Now I know not everyone will feel the way I do about this show, but hear me out. The freaking main character gets reincarnated as a spider, while the majority of her classmates are humans. Not to mention, some are freaking like royalty. There are only two others that are not reborn as humans. One is Fia, or Fee, however you say your name, which is an earth dragon, and then an Oni, who used to be an orc. I'm not sure how to say his name, so we're just going to call him Oni. But we don't really learn much about him, and we don't even really see him until towards the end of the show. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about him. Not right now, anyways. Even Fee is, pretty pampered and doesn't have to fight to survive. That word only goes to Kumiko, or not only, but pretty much Kumiko. I know her name also is Hiro, but I'm just going to call her Kumiko. And I kind of like that name better anyways. Okay, like I said, the Oni, I'm not going to go into his story too much, but his backstory is so messed up. But since it's not in the anime, I'm not really going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it at all. But I will tell you this. It's so messed up, it bothered me for like 2 weeks straight. That's how messed up his backstory is. So if you haven't read the light novels, you should do that. The difference in each other's lives, they really put contrast in that. We see other classmates, chowing down on food, all this amazing food they're eating. Then it cuts to our spider, forced it down like the nastiest meal, only because that's what she has to do to survive. The contrast really shows the difference between characters. In my opinion, it's just brilliant. I love how they tell this story. Now I know I'm really giving this story a lot of praise, but it does have some flaws. And one really big flaw, like the biggest flaw of all, is the CGI. Man, I don't know if they just ran out of money towards the end of the damn season, but that CGI looks so bad. It looks like it came from like a PS1 game. I mean, it's really that bad. When I was watching this my second time through, I thought to myself, I don't think the CGI was really that bad. But then when I got towards the end, it was even worse than I remembered. In my opinion, that's the worst thing about this show. But it's not really until towards the end when they just lose their budget or just stop caring, one or the other. But another issue that some will have, including my brother, is our main character. She never shuts up. Just keeps talking and talking and talking. And she talks so fast at that. My brother tried to watch this in sub, but since she spoke so damn fast, he couldn't even keep up with the subtitles. And I can see how Kumiko's voice can get a little bit annoying. My second playthrough, I remember thinking, man, her voice is a little annoying. But you kind of have to realize she is by herself, just trying to survive with nobody to speak to by herself. When she's battling or coming up with strategies or just walking around, she's just nonstop talking. But I also get the feeling like she's slowly losing her mind. But given her situation, I think most people would. I mean, she was reborn as a spider. I think that would take a toll on anyone. Another issue seems to be with the side characters, aka her other classmates. And yes, it does slow the story down a bit, but they are crucial to the story and gives you context of what is going on outside the world. The first time watching this, you're not really for sure what's going on. I couldn't help but think Kumiko was just reborn as a spider, but all her classmates are all grown up. but it doesn't really clarify what's going on. That's what's so brilliant about this show. And not till later in the story do we realize what's really going on. But even then, you're not really for sure. And that's the part of the story I like so much. And if they just left out the other classmates, I think it would really hinder that storytelling, that process that they're really going for. One last thing I'd like to talk about before jumping into the story is our spider's appearance. To Kumiko, she looks like a loving little spider that wouldn't hurt a fly unless she's hungry. She's all cute and just wants to be left alone and eat good food. What else could you want? But on the other hand, when she's first born, we see what the spiders really look like. On the other hand, when she's first born, we see what the spiders really look like. But not until episode 10, Who Is This Geezer? I love the names. Do we really see what she looks like to the humans? This is when a group of adventurers come with the world's strongest mage to check out why all the monsters are leaving the labyrinth, and they find the nightmare of the labyrinth and how terrifying it looks. What is so brilliant about this episode is we see what happens in both eyes of the humans and of our little spider. And that's when we first learn that our little spider has a nickname, Nightmare of the Labyrinth. This has to be one of my favorite episodes. She only gets upset when the humans start burning down her nest. She didn't attack until she was provoked, and in her mind, she's just defending herself because that's all she's ever known. That's all she's ever done. I really love this whole scene, and afterwards we see Kumiko just completely pissed off and complaining about what just happened, even though they didn't pose any threat to her. In a light novel, there's a little bit more backstory to this. The Nightmare of the Labyrinth is known to also help humans or people and even heal them. In the novel, Kumiko comes across some adventurers about to die from a giant snake, but she saves them and heals them. It was really just because she was, looking for some food and decides, well, I'm here. I might as well, why not help these people? So the group that has ventured off into the labyrinth to check don't know what to believe. Is she good? Is she bad? Is it all just rumors? But she's so terrifying to the humans, they just completely freak out and start attacking. And of course, they don't even stand a chance against our spider anymore. She's way too OP now. I just really like on this episode how we get to see both versions. We get to see the human, through the human's eyes of why they think she's evil. Then we also get to see through her eyes of why she thinks they're the ones doing something wrong. It's just really clever storytelling, in my opinion. All right, so let's talk about the opening scene. We see our spider burst out in the chaos that she sees. I mean, what would that do to your psyche? You burst out, you're a spider, and everyone's, killing each other. And all she has to do is survive. And she sees everyone else trying to survive too. And they're all like eating each other. And she's like, nope, I'm out of here. And just runs into her and just runs off. And who does she find? She finds her mother, the Queen Tackeract, whatever, which turns out to be one of the strongest monsters in the world, who's also eating her children. The whole opening quickly establishes either eat or be eaten. And that is really the gist of our spider, is to fight, grow stronger, rinse, repeat. And that's exactly what she does, what she sets out to do. But what makes it so much fun is when you see or hear about Kumiko through other people's eyes or in stories. It's so well done and well written. Some of the battles we see Kumiko in is another centerpiece of the anime. The first snake she battles is an awesome scene. Her fighting for her life, and what's so funny afterwards is she eats the whole damn thing and she's still hungry. I'm like, where is all that food going? Another battle that is like a whole episode long is the Revenge Monkeys. And yes, the CGI kind of sucked, looked horrible, I know. But the battle itself was awesome. And the fact that she kills all of them and eats all of them is just another thing that's just crazy. But I loved it. It also kind of shows how ruthless she is, So my question is, since she killed all the monkeys, does that mean they're no longer in the Great Elo Labyrinth? I don't know. It's a question I've always wondered. One thing we don't see in the anime, which I was a little disappointed, is when Kumiko makes it to the middle stratosphere and fights the fire dragon that's all like beaten up. Now that fight is awesome, but it doesn't show you how or why the dragon got his ass kicked. But in the light novel, in the manga, it does. And I'm gonna ruin this right here and now, so FYI. So it just so happens that the dragon had a lot of smaller worms, which worms are like smaller dragons. And they attacked the queen, Kumiko's mom. And she just turns around and hits him with one attack. Kills all the worms, damn near killed the dragon. I guess that's not that important, but I still remember wondering what the hell happened to that dragon. But that whole fight scene with her, the dragon, it's pretty awesome, pretty epic. That's when she first gains some new abilities and, some other stuff we'll talk about later. So we spend something like 12 episodes of Kumiko in Labyrinth. And when she makes it out, the show gets even better. It was so funny when she first escapes and the humans have a fort at the opening of the entrance, and she accidentally destroys the whole thing. I just really like that scene and her reaction after she's leaving. A couple of things happen when she leaves the labyrinth. One, her mother tries to make her come back, and since she kind of can't, she's decides to kill her. But our little spider is no longer a little helpless spider, and she kicks all their asses to the point where the queen calls a secret weapon, the Demon Lord. Let's talk about the Demon Lord. She's not really a bad guy, but you don't really know anything about her until towards the end of the show, when her and Kumiko make up and become sort of friends. But before that, they do play a little of a cat and mouse game, since Demon Lord is the original Takarak. Hope I'm saying that right. She tried to help the queen from Kumiko's parallel mind attack. Oh, did I not mention Kumiko now has 4 parallel minds? Well, she does. And she notices that she has a connection to her mother, and sends her parallel minds to check it out. And what do you know? She starts eating her soul. Yeah, you heard me. Eating her soul. And this is why the Demon Lord named Ariel is after Kumiko, trying to save the queen. Ariel is also one of my favorite characters. She is starting a war between demons and humans, but it's way more than that. It's actually a war with the elves, but we'll get to that later. Now, with all the OP skills that Kumiko has, Demon Lord cannot catch her, so she ends up just setting up near a town in some woods. Now, with all the OP skills Kumiko has, Demon Lord can't even catch up with her, so she ends up settling near a town in some woods or forest or whatever. But when she escapes the labyrinth, she runs into a carriage. And what do you know? She runs into one of her classmates, who is a baby vampire, who is being attacked by some bandits. And damn, this little showdown between the bandits and Kumiko was brutal. She doesn't just kill the bandits, she completely destroys them. Since she has a rule, you can't waste food, she takes them all with her to eat. Now I know this isn't the first time she has eaten people, but something about her eating people kind of bothered me. Yeah, I know she's not human anymore, but a monster, but still it bothers seeing her eat people. I mean, she was human in her past life, but again, what would that do to your psyche? But I'm shutting off here, so let's get back. What's so funny about this scene after she kills all the bandits and she heals a couple of the people? Her mother, the baby's mother, gives her some fruit. And then she appraises the baby, Bloodsucker, what she ends up naming the baby. She learns she's a reincarnation. Her name is Sophia. And after seeing her stats and that she's a vampire, we get a pretty funny scene. And shortly after Kumiko takes to the forest and starts living there, she's right outside the town where the baby Bloodsucker lives, to both watch over the baby Bloodsucker and watch for the Demon Lord, since she's still trying to kill her. It just so happens the elves are also trying to kill or steal the baby bloodsucker. I'm not even really for sure. And by elves, I mean Potamus. I can't say too much about this guy because the show doesn't really say too much. And I'm not gonna ruin anything for the anime watchers. But all we really know from the show that he is a elf leader and the demon lord killed a clone, like a robot clone of himself, and that he's, the bad guy. He's like the bad guy of the show. So while Kumiko is watching over Vampy, she's just killing elves and bandits left and right. It's pretty comical. She's so OP, she's got these evil eyes. She just looks at them and they're dead. And she can use her evil eyes with this telescopic, whatever. And she can use her evil eyes from like long distance with another skill she has, and she just looks at them and they're all dead. They just ended up dead everywhere, like even inside the house of where the Vampy lives. While this is going on, Kumiko accidentally starts a little war between the two nations. A war. Damn, really? Or that's just what I thought the first time watching. And during the war, what does she do? She plays as a reporter, reporting on the war. And then she gets into the fight with the Demon Lord and just massacres hundreds or maybe even thousands of people. It's pretty crazy, but it's pretty entertaining. I know what you're thinking. She's fighting the Demon Lord? Yep. And she gets her ass kicked and dies. But she is saved by her little egg-laying skill, since she transfers her whole consciousness into one of her eggs, and presto, she's back. And at a new form at that. This form has to be one of my favorites. She just looks totally badass. She really does. I found some anime action figures of this form, but damn, they are expensive, so I have not been able to purchase one. I just realized I haven't even talked about her classmates and what they're up to. I know I said earlier that they do kind of play an important part in the story, but it's way down the line. I'm on novel 12, and I'm still waiting for that damn payoff of the other classmates. But we can talk about them for a little bit. Like Shun, who is a typical, I want to be the hero, and what's right, and what's best for humanity, no matter what. And we have his love interest, Kaeta, whatever. Who, by the way, was a boy in her previous life. I don't know, I just find it strange hooking up with your best friend when you're not gay in your previous life. I have to think that has something to do to your psyche as well. I mean, I know most guys, including myself, if I was reborn a hot girl, I can only imagine how much I would be looking myself in the mirror. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on. We also have Fee, who was reborn as an Earth Dragon, but some cool info on her. She was born in the same labyrinth as a little spider. In the first couple of episodes, Kumiko gets her little legs on a dragon egg that she got from an adventurer who was caught inside of her web. And she tries her damnness to crack the egg, but doesn't succeed. But that egg turned out to be Fee. I think this is a pretty cool addition to the story. There's one part where Fee explains what she could hear while she was in the clutches of the spider inside the labyrinth, and we all know what spider that was. I just think it's really cool to hear different sides of the story from different points of view. But we also have Hugo. What does it really say about Hugo but he wants to be like Shun, and therefore it turns out to be the villain, or a villain. There are more side characters, but none to really, worth mentioning. To be honest, besides one more, that's Miss Oka, which was her teacher in her past lives. Honestly, I hate Miss Oka and her goals. It's just so cliche and didn't really make a lot of sense. The elves are like so bad, and she has lived with them her whole life. And she doesn't notice this, or at least even question it or notice there's something off. Anyways, the story has so many things going on all at once. We have all the side characters, Kumiko, and the Demon Lord plot. It's just so much to take in all at once. But during the whole show, we keep seeing the Demon Lord planning a war with the humans. We keep seeing this lady in white, who they call White, who, by the way, kills the hero, Julius. Yeah, I just spoiled that. Sorry. But I wish we would have gotten more details or info, something, anything. But it turns out the war the Demon Lord is planning is against the humans, but the main goal is to destroy the elves, or should I say Potamus. And that's kind of the end of the season. One, the Demon Lord is facing off with the elves while the hero is fighting the demons and our other classmates. Oh yeah, we have a new hero since, White killed the other hero, Julius. Title went to his brother, Sean, who is one of Kumiko's classmates, who all meet up at the end during the war. We have Sean, or Shun, and his group, and Sophia and her group facing off. Or not really, because they're no match for Sophia. In this world, there's a skill called Taboo. And what this skill does, when you max it out, it shows you the history of the world, which is really dark. And the reason why Kumiko joins the Demon Lord, and why the Demon Lord is going to war with the elves and the humans. I'm not going to go too much detail, but that's what it is. Sean maxes out his taboo on the battlefield. After he sees the history of the world, that's when he sees White, who then turns, we find out White is actually Kumiko, our little spider, evolved in the future, which honestly I thought was a Demon Lord. And the show does a pretty good job of confusing you. Is she the Demon Lord? Then you think, no way she could be the Demon Lord. So that means Kumiko killed the hero, Julius, which is kind of messed up if you think about it. So honestly, that's the spider in a nutshell. Wait, I didn't even mention the administrators, or Administrator D, or Nightmare Vestiges, or even the fight with Mother, the Queen. Man, there's so much to talk about with this show. Let's go with Kumiko, little fishing trip, which I thought was so freaking hilarious. When she finally gets out of the ocean, all these water dragons are just giving her the mean glare because the ocean is, their territory, and she has been slaughtering water dragons left and right ever since she's been in the ocean. In the novel, they paint the ocean as basically red because she's been killing so many water dragons. Now she's getting out of the ocean. You see all these water dragons just glaring at her, and it's just priceless. It's just such a funny scene. See, you have to really enjoy the little things. But let's just briefly touch on the administrators, which are really the gods of this world. You have Administrator D, who is an evil god, and the most powerful, and tells Kumiko several times she's just an evil god, and Kumiko is just her little plaything, just for her enjoyment. The other administrator, I'm not even going to try to say this guy's name, but they call him Ghoulie, and/or sometimes they call him Black. He is over the dragons, and when Kumiko first kills the dragon while she's in the labyrinth is when we first meet the administrators. So I really hope I painted enough of a picture of why I like this anime so much and why you should really just give it a chance. But if you do give it a chance, you just gotta look past the bad CGI. It's well worth it, I promise. I would really like to talk about the light novels in the future. Let me know if that's something others are interested in. I just finished light novel volume 12. Man, let me tell you, that was such a damn good book, damn good novel. Like, it was so good I can't even explain it. But I'm not gonna talk too much about it here in this video. They are all just such great novels. I can't speak highly enough about them. And sadly, I don't think we're gonna get another season of this show. I don't know why. The show's awesome. The show's great. But I don't see us getting another season. But one could hope. One can only hope. Well, anyways, that's really all I got to say about I'm a Spider, So What. I love this anime so much. And tell me what you think. Tell me your opinion of this show. Is it worth it? Is it as good as what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.